Buy necklaces, right?
Uh, we're live.
Okay, let me sit my behind down.
Hello, everybody. This is Miki Wright, and I want to welcome you guys to Beauty Superstars Talk, your backstage pass to experts in beauty. And one of the reasons for this show is my belief that if you want to be the best, you have to hang out with the best. And earlier this summer, as the racial tensions were moving into the beauty industry, I was actually invited to meet with Gerard Scarpese of Hairbrained, and we had a great conversation. I was sharing some of the inequities that exist in for people of color with, say, opening a salon. And he shared, when he decided to open, he called his friend Van Council, and Van Council is easily one of the top salon owners in the country, and he helped to guide him through. And I can say it's absolutely fabulous to have people who have your best interests at heart to guide you. I've actually been really blessed and fortunate to have had several wonderful mentors in my life. And one of the things that this particular episode of Beauty Superstars Talk is about access. So who is in your circle who has already been down the path you want to go? And my guest tonight, Jane Carter, she's one of the few people that I know who's gone from being a cosmetologist, creating a product in her basement, growing a brand, and then having that brand distributed nationwide. So she's got a lot to share with us. And I wanted to share a little bit about how did we meet. As some of you may know, I was actually one of the first African-American owners of a full-service salon and day spa in the country. And as I considered expanding and wanted to run an exceptional salon, I joined a group that was called the Salon Association, TSA, which was an organization of some of the top 10% of salons in the country, or salon owners in the country. And I learned so much from the classes that they offered and from the people that I was able to network with. And I share this because it was at TSA that I first met Jane Carter. And so if I'm not mistaken, it was around the time that she and her husband launched Jane Carter Solution. And that was mid 1990s. So it may seem ancient to some of you guys who weren't even born then, but it wasn't that long ago. But it was a natural product line that Jane, who's actually a cosmetologist, developed because of allergies. She developed as a result of working behind the chair. And that resonated with me as a salon owner and as a stylist, because I've actually always had a lot of allergies. So they shared their products directly with salons, going door to door and at trade shows. And then fast forward a few years, maybe several years, and there's a natural hair boom. And what has always been a perfect fit for natural hair and also relaxed hair and literally hair of all texture. That's right. It's Jane Carter's products. And so I'll let her share her own story, but suffice it to say that the distribution exploded and you could find her products in just about every major retailer and beauty supply in the country. And she's going to share how what sounds like a dream come true may have turned into a nightmare and how you can avoid it. And that's where we get into the access part. So for many of us as Black entrepreneurs, we don't have a role model to follow and consult with. And that's why it's my pleasure to bring you this show so that you can now have a mentor in almost any area of the beauty industry. So before I formally introduce her and get started with hearing her story and the tips she has to share with us, I want to let you know, why I'm here, why I'm so excited to be here tonight and each and every week that I bring you some of the best and brightest Black artists and entrepreneurs in the beauty industry. I bring them to share their stories and to take you backstage into their world. Again, my name is Miki Wright, and if you're on YouTube with us, please invite you to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss any episodes. And I actually started Beauty Superstars Talk as an opportunity to celebrate Black artists and entrepreneurs who are excelling in the beauty industry. And it's actually about preserving our history, about encouraging entrepreneurship in our industry for our next generations. I've had the pleasure of doing almost everything you can do in the beauty industry, including becoming an award-winning hairstylist and educator, helping thousands of other stylists and salon owners to get more clients and make more money. And I'm also second generation in the business with both my mom and sister in it as well. And I was also one of the first African-American owners of a full-service salon and day spa in the country, which I shared earlier. But you basically could say that I love the beauty industry. And Beauty Superstars Talk was born out of the murder of George Floyd and the racial tensions that erupted right after. That actually quickly spilled into the beauty industry, which after churches is still one of the most segregated industries in the country. And during that time, I actually had the honor to be part of several Zoom calls, you could say, to meet and see some others that I already knew, a lot of Black artists and entrepreneurs in the industry who were doing great things and coming together to, share stories, introduce each other, and see, where do we go from here. And for many, there was pain over subtle and not so subtle, racially charged events that they had experienced. But anyone on that call, they didn't let that stop them. And so I left there feeling so inspired and with a sense that people just have to hear these stories. And so I've expanded my platform to provide a safe space for Black artists to tell their own stories and, without narration or anything else. So we're here to inspire, to educate, and heal our beloved industry. And without further ado, it's like I want to welcome my guest, Jane Carter. And before we get started, I want to share just a little bit about her, just share a little bit of her bio. And we are going to sit back and relax and have a great conversation about her experiences and how she can help us with navigating, starting a product, creating a brand and getting it out distribution, and what things you should look out for, because it's like there's some potholes in the road ahead. So so stay tuned, don't go anywhere. But Jane Carter, traditionally the average small business doesn't easily find their way to becoming a global brand. Coming from a family of innovators, Jane Carter has become the driving force for a brand that exemplifies a purpose, a cause, and a solution. Life experiences have contributed to the woman who has spent over 20 years representing and creating a voice for women. Suffering family losses due to segregation and racism, her personal life and business model caters to diversity. Being one of the first African-American students admitted to a white elementary school at just 6 years old, Jane witnessed community and racial uproars that have ingrained her with a fighting spirit. Jane opened her first salon, challenged with obstacles to assist the needs of a diverse clientele. Finding the right formula was pertinent to her brand. Genetically wired to fight for the underdog, seeking solutions was a steadfast attribute Jane credits to having been passed down by her family. The strong woman of today, as a mother and dedicated business mogul, she has become the DNA to a leading natural hair care company. Her success story reflects a wealth of knowledge, past experiences, and personal determination that led her to create the winning formula for a diverse group of women. Her latest project and hair care line is called Jane Carter Evolve. And with that, I want to welcome you, Mrs. Jane Carter. How are you?
Thanks, Mick. That was great.
Well, thank
So
you.
I'm looking at in the corner, beauty superstars, and I'm thinking it should probably be saying beauty super slaves,
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, break it down for us.
because this business is a lot of work, as you know.
Yes.
You've been in the salon business. It's a lot of work, and probably like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting because I feel like just innately there's something about like the attraction. So like probably like, I'm sure much like you. I was like the backyard hair cutter at like age 12.
Okay.
I got a big family with all different kinds of hair. And I just
Mhm.
always like loved that whole like experience. And before I ever even considered like doing that, it was kind of weird because, some of the things that you're speaking about. So I'm working on currently some online courses.
Mhm.
And my kids are the millennials, so predominantly they're designed from this book that I wrote that I have to get published, but I like put in the suitcase. And my oldest kid is like, just write a course, mom, like it's just that easy.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of a long story. So my freshman year of college, I went to Hampton.
Mhm.
And if you go to HBCU and you can do hair, you got more clout than the weed man and the pizza guy.
Uh-oh.
And it was like I just loved the industry. Like, I don't know, it was just kind of weird. So I don't know, fast forward, long story short, my dad was an accountant who actually was a musician. My dad's family came here from like rural Virginia, and I don't know, they had this whole concept about doing this business, and they kind of got their dream killed. And my dad was like a saxophone player. One day he came downstairs after he graduated from high school, and my grandfather, who of course they had actually developed this laundry delivery business.
Okay.
And something happened. Like somebody crashed a truck. There was no insurance, so now the three of them have to like figure out what to do next. So my father tells me this story like way later in his life. He says, I come downstairs in my little zoot suit, my saxophone, and my dad's like, "You're not going to make any living doing that. That's a stupid job." And he shares a story that a week later, he enrolls in the Marines, and he's like, okay, whatever, I don't know what to do next. So he comes out, he goes to Pace on the military bill, whatever. He becomes an accountant. And of course, he goes into the music business. So I grew up in that business. My father managed the Ellington catalog. He managed Gil Scott-Heron. My father actually created the first royalty tracking system.
Wow.
For the music business. And basically, he was the first executive director, brown man, of the American Guild of Authors and Composers. That's before ASCAP and BMI.
Wow.
And he was also left-handed, which is like the curse and the blessing.
Right.
Right? You're analytical, you're creative, right? So when they requested him to come and run this organization, of course, no one black had ever done this. He said, I need a fund set aside because I have to track the rights and royalties of these musicians that just never got paid, like Billie Holiday, like, Apple Network.
Right.
And then he went back and he like sued all these attorneys who pretty much pimped all these black jazz artists, and like they had no right to their royalties. And probably one of the last things, and I mean literally as far back as like Billie Holiday, one of the last things that I remember, I think I was 17, that he went back and collected like, I don't know, some insane amount of money for Bobby Hebb, who wrote the song Sunny. Remember that?
I do.
Kellogg's commercials. But at that time, much like we're artists.
Right.
I make the analogy all the time about graffiti artists. They get out of the car, they get spray paint. I don't know who does that. I can't paint a circle, right? But, so went back and he actually, once he was able to track royalties and rights, went back and sued and collected all this money. So kind of being like the creative inventor, a little bit more like Angela Davis on crack, like my mom was. It's kind of just innate from me, and so
how did you get started with like you told us your hair part, but how did you like go into the salon ownership and the product?
So here we go. You ready?
All of this is kind of in your experience and DNA for sure, as far as business ownership. And
so, all right. So my dad thought that I should have gone to law school.
Okay.
But since I can't sit down, that would have never been an option. It's kind of funny because one of the things that I do in the courses that I'm delivering coming up next are the multiple intelligence test. So the multiple intelligence test was not even aware of until I went back to school to work at a master's. And the professor said, this is an executive program. Everybody's busy. We have a full-time job. I want you to understand your learning style. Okay. I'm like, okay. So she has us all take this test online. And I look at the results, and my learning style is kinesthetic, like 94%. Which means I'm a full body learner. I could be a chef. I could be a stylist. I'm also visual spatial, which is pretty much what painters or graffiti artists are, because, I remember training stylists in the salon or training stylists for beauty schools and saying, can't you see this is disproportionate, this haircut? And they'd be like, and I'm like, yo, it's like, and to me, and I never really understood why that was so like easy for me to see. Part of this multiple intelligence test is not about your IQ. It's about your brain wiring, how you learn. It's the same concept that Maria Montessori had. Like kids should learn at their own pace. Somebody can look at 3 + 3 = 6. Somebody has to take 3 blocks of 3 blocks and count them and say, oh, I see it equals 6, right? So, I'm visual spatial, which the hair cutting thing is normal. I'm kinesthetic. I'd never sit down, and I'm interpersonal, intrapersonal. So being around people is like the norm.
Mhm.
So, all right, long story short, I decided, okay, I was kind of like in between influx of like school and like the whole like beauty business. So I think I went to like Votech, and my teacher, she was kind of funny. She's probably like 80, Mrs. Johnson, that was like, to this day, part of the cosmetology breakdown and disconnect is that the cosmetology test was created around sterilization and sanitation at a period in time where people like transmitting communicable diseases, like you didn't sterilize at home or you didn't, right?
Mhm.
So, and it still exists today, okay? And, so, I mean, the test does not necessarily prepare you to go out into the world as a stylist and make a living.
Right.
Okay. Which is why a lot of independent beauty supply schools are out of business. Because
Mm.
if you go to school and the government gives you a grant or a loan or whatever, and you get out and you don't pay it, they started to rank schools. Well, what did you not get done? Okay, so if we talk about the whole beauty industry, I can tell you from working with the entire Empire Beauty School chain and from owning the first salon is that hair is hair. Okay, I'm not getting into the black hair. What I can't. Okay, and no disrespect, but if you go to Brazil, like what? So I think I was telling you this funny story the other day. So I live in North Newark, and this guy was sitting on the bench by the bus stop, and he had like the most perfect hair I've ever seen. Brown skin and really cute. And I'm walking with my younger daughter who speaks Spanish and Portuguese because she
Mm.
likes to travel to like third world countries and like do like community activism thing. And she always comes back with like a boyfriend named Guato, knowing the weed guy and like speaking the language or something. Right? So I was like kind of joking with this guy. I was like, yo, can we get your DNA, bro? Because he looked up and he responded to me in Portuguese. And Lexi, of course, had a whole conversation with him at that point. But it's just interesting because if we look back at, okay, so there's two things um, about the beauty business. First of all, many of my experiences are that and no disrespect to the cosmetology teachers, that when you have in New Jersey, it's 1,200 hours. I think it's 14 in New York. So it's 600 or 700. You have people that come into the floor to get their hair done for you to practice on.
Mm.
So if the cosmetology teacher is white, white grandma comes in and she gives it to the white girl. If
Mhm.
black grandma comes in, she gives it to the black girl. Okay, hair is hair. It's like about this Brazilian guy. You travel around the world, the concept of black and white is like, this is like, I don't know, it's like some slavery context in a lot of countries. And I feel like, the biggest, probably the biggest deficit is going to cosmetology school because you love it, you're passionate about it, and not understanding the value of knowing how to do anybody that walks through your door. That is why you chose that industry. To this
Wow.
day, it still does not exist. Makes me crazy. Okay. The second thing is, so I don't know, I kind of took a leap of faith. Meanwhile, my dad's an accountant, and after I went to beauty school, I was like, okay, I think I was bartending or something random. So I actually researched this guy and I found this guy who studied under Sassoon.
Mhm.
And he was in Westfield, New Jersey, which is very white. So I pretty much went to his salon and applied for a job as an assistant. And they were like, no, we're not hiring. So I was like, whatever, I'll just show up every day and sweep hair and torture you till you hire me. Which is pretty much what I did.
Okay.
so, so I mean, I became very well trained in the hair cutting concept.
Mhm.
So he wanted to open a salon in Scotch Plains, New Jersey called Great American Haircut. And because I had a degree in business and just like whatever, I don't think he actually realized I was black, which is kind of the funny part.
Mhm.
So he wanted me to go and manage and create a whole training program for this salon, Great American Haircut in Scotch Plains, unlike Westfield, which is wealthy white, Scotch Plains is like kind of diverse with a lot of diverse communities around it. So I'm doing the service menu. So I put relaxer at the time, this is 100 years ago, on the service menu. And he says, we're not going to offer that service. I'm like, excuse me? He's like, that's not the clientele we're after. I was like, wait, does he have a clue? Like, okay, long story short, we opened a salon. I think I probably tortured him. And I did a whole training program. The staff I hired was very diverse. And after a year, I was just like, yo, I can't. So I opened my first salon in Plainfield. And I think I left there and like rented a chair or something for a year and begged like 150 grand in cash. And my father, the very conservative accountant, was like, you should go to law school. Like, I don't want to go to law school. So I think I took him right before I opened the salon into like the bank, like, the safety deposit box, and dumped like this cash on the table. And he was like, oh my, where did you get this from? I'm like, Dad, I've been working like this. Long story short, girl. So I opened my first salon there. It was a strip mall. The strip mall was zoned for retail and not service. So we talk about knowing who to find as the experts. So I had to have the zoning changed. So I hired the attorney who represented the town.
Okay. That's a good person to have.
That's the guy to have.
Right.
On our side or your side. So anyway, yes, we opened the first salon there. And it's funny, I had, this salon was so diverse. Okay, Grace, who had a degree in psychology, who's like Jamaican. Tiffany, who's Black. I think she does a salon in Princeton. Danny Sang, who still has a salon in Greenbrook, who was Chinese. John Ryan, who's like a curly hair, Irish white guy. Like, it was like, and my thing was like training, like, just be blind. This is just hair.
Right.
It has nothing to do with your skin color, right? So like if you're Indian or you're from Pakistan and you're dark skinned and your hair is straight, like, are you what?
Straight hair.
You guys, okay, so what are you? Are you Black? Because I'm like reality. Okay. So I opened a salon. It was in a very kind of a pretty lily white community, super diverse. I mean, my clients were like, everybody. I'm a hair colorist. I work for Clairol. So it was kind of a unique salon because people got to come and like socialize. And I would like finish a client like 5 o'clock, and at 7:30, they'd still be there drinking wine and like eating like hors d'oeuvres. Like, go home. Like, so, I mean, it was an amazing experience. So at the end of the second year, my dad, who was the accountant, did my tax returns, and we did $1.7 million in sales.
Wow.
That shut his ass up. Excuse my mouth. Okay, so I was around products and was the platform artist for Clairol, and I was just around products all the time. So then I developed this weird allergic, like asthma, like what's going on thing. So there were things in the market because, like I said, I'm a colorist. So my clients are from like high left blondes to like guys with locks, right? As a colorist. So like, where is there a product line that addresses the needs of all of my customers and the stylists who like do the range of hair textures? Okay. So then I have this whole allergic thing. I go to this pulmonary guy, does a chest x-ray. I hear him go into the next room and look at the x-ray, and I hear him go, ooh. Like,
not what you want to hear your doctor say.
You don't want to hear from the pulmonary guy. He says to me, what are you, a coal miner? I said, no. I'm a hairstylist. Right? So he says, well, you better find a new career. Meanwhile, I still had like 4 years left in my lease, and my mom used to laugh. She said, you ain't going nowhere, girl. I said, well, how about if I got homeless she said, you got a lease, they'll find you. Trust me.
Right. That's a whole other show.
So that was like the beginning of like me starting to actually really look at like what was going on in products. So perfect example, right? So, at that time, there was a spritz spray in the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to curl your client's hair, flat iron, you would mist it, which gave you a little hold, right? Little kind of crunchy hold. It's a polymer. And spritz spray was always based, has an alcohol base.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of retarded. Like, so that's when I started to study chemistry. Spritz spray is soluble in water and alcohol. So why would you put it in alcohol that we have 17 stylists heating and breathing this when you could put it in water and get the same effect and your hair's not dried out? So it's like dawn on me, like, what is wrong with this industry? And I mean, like I said, not to be disrespectful, but you know, the people making products are in a lab. They've never even been in a salon.
Right.
Like, no, what is wrong with you guys? Like, natural hold spray gel was my answer to that. It was water based with some hold. So when you flat ironed the hair, you didn't dry the hair out, didn't have alcohol that you're breathing. One of the other products I made was wrap and roll, which doesn't have any hold because most of the foaming mousse things have like some crunchy hold. So if you're going to wrap your client's hair, why do you need something crunchy when you're going to take her out and curl her with the spritz spray? That's
Right.
like no set. Like, who is making this crap? Anyway, all right. See, I didn't know if you could see this stuff. Okay. So then I had to lose my mind.
Now, what was? Oh, okay. I can see it. The Society of Cosmetic Chemists. Okay.
Like, I needed one more degree, but whatever.
Okay.
And so, kind of going back and like looking at the market, looking at the industry, and looking at potential things in the market that were dangerous. And then you start to realize, like, okay, so, and the beginning of that era was everybody relaxed their hair.
Mm-hmm.
So there was the ethnic section,
Mm-hmm.
which was like the forfeit section in the back of the store. Maybe you should have said Negro shop here. Like, what does that mean? Okay, I get the whole marketing context. When you go to sell into a store, you go to a buyer. Their job is to decide who's going to go on that shelf space. Okay. Right. And typically the buyers get rotated. So you might get the guy from like pet care who's now buying for like, right? Who's like whatever, right? So I don't know. It just all started to make sense to me. And like, I didn't start the product line to like create a product line. I just wanted products that were effective, that worked. So everything that we were using as brown women had petroleum. Mm-hmm. Petroleum is disgusting. It does like, okay, but so let's go back and think about this. Why? It's cheap.
Yep.
Okay, so in the ethnic section, there's a price point that you have to meet. So you couldn't use ingredients like shea butter or jojoba oil because it was not consistent with the $4.99 price point. However, shea butter increases the epidermal thickness of your skin, which means that your skin holds more moisture. You don't have to keep greasing yourself up every day with petroleum. Mm-hmm. I ain't that smart. So there are a lot of things over the years. All right. So anyway, I make products. I was laughing at you earlier and I said, can you show this? This is what my living room looks like.
Oh, okay.
My daughter thought I had like a meth lab there.
Room. Okay.
So I'm working on the next product line just for all of our lovely listeners. I am no longer in any way involved with the Jane Carter solution. Kind of like Bernie Madoff, who made off. I was the one who made off. However, so part of this conversation is about the reinvention of Jane. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's listening, feel free to go to, look what I did, I prepared.
Okay, and I'm going to put it on here, Jane Carter Evolve.
JaneCarterEvolve.com.
Okay, I'm going to put it up, guys.
Okay, so that's the website I'm working on now.
And that's an email address?
That is my personal email address.
Okay.
As we are launching the site, I am working on some amazing products that I think could be game changers. Mm-hmm. I'm no longer involved in the Jane Carter Solution product line, not by my choice, but don't ever let anybody have your digital signature stamp.
Say that again. Tell us that. What is that?
Don't let anybody running your finances in your company ever have your digital signature stamp.
Okay, so we get these documents. There's something that comes by DocuSign or whatever. We sign it. Is that what you're
But we
referencing?
don't sign it. They sign it because I'm over in Amsterdam talking to the brown girls about their hair.
Okay. But at one point, we've almost all, I think, probably signed something online. How do we know if it's being used again?
Well, listen, if you run a company, I mean, I started this, my kids grew up thinking everybody had a manufacturing facility in their basement. Like, so, I mean, if you're working on product development and you're traveling and, I did the whole European Union thing, you have a team, you have a CFO, you have a bookkeeper, you have, these are people that are supposed to be watching your finances, except if they're slippery, no integrity,
Mhm.
lying, pieces of shift. Is that allowed? Shift? Then,
Loud.
sorry. And this is going on with many companies. We've seen many companies, unfortunately, taking advantage of the,
Uh-oh.
go ahead, sweetie.
Okay. We were losing the audio a little bit.
Wait, am I going quiet? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's breaking up a little. Now I can hear you better.
Okay, I think may have to plug in my computer. So,
Okay.
I don't know. I think what's important and what we're talking about, don't go away 1 second, hold on.
Okay. Yeah, it's like I think some of the things that she's sharing are so important for us to kind of get a sense of what do we do, how do we do it, how do we protect ourselves. And I hope you guys were hearing how much she talked about creating something that met the needs of the market and met the needs of the hairstylist. And when you're looking at your products and what you're kind of creating, it wasn't about creating a brand or getting it over here or doing this with it. It really was about reaching the people who needed the product and what were their needs. And when you can meet that need, then you have a hit. And there she is.
Sorry, I had to plug in. So, okay, so what you were saying is, okay,
Okay, good.
so if you sell to Sephora, okay, Sephora's price point is masstige, okay? If you're selling to Target or Walgreens, okay, and you go to the buyer, they look at the commonality of a price point in that section, and you have to be competitive,
Okay.
okay?
Okay. Okay.
So, my kids always tease me and they say, because I like write rap songs and stuff. Like, I'm like, we've grown it, we should own it. Like,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, and I feel like, it's a complicated business. It's we don't have enough time to talk about all these details, but yeah, I do have an interesting history around integrating a school in the first grade with police protection and a court order. And the first day I thought it was the paparazzi. The second day they were like, nigga, go home. I was like, who y'all talking to? I'm 6. Like legit. Like,
Yeah.
And so I feel like, okay, did I already put up my stupid, hold on. The Jane at JaneCarterEvolved.com.
Yep.
So Jane Carter Evolved is going to be online courses.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot, the first,
Okay. Okay.
the millennials. Okay. Part of it's personal development.
And she said,
I'm sorry, let me shut up.
"Oh,
So,
no, go ahead. We
I'm
want
sorry. So part of it's, I mean, these are my kids, the millennials. Part of it's personal development. Part of it's just like we talked about this,
to."
you know, this whole test, multiple intelligence test. If you go to college and you're supposed to be a designer, don't be an accountant. But if you don't really understand
Okay.
brain wiring, right?
Right.
Which is for those of us that love this business, love this business. There are things that, like the graffiti artists, right? Like there is a brain wiring that gives you the visual perspective to be able to do that. So,
Right.
a lot. So some of the online courses that I'm offering are about starting your own business. They are about designing a most amazing, perfect life, about owning real estate and equity, because these are my kids and I see what they're dealing with. I feel like anybody that wants to do their own product line, feel free to email me, jane@janecarterevolve.com. I would certainly be glad to have another conversation podcast based on questions that people may have. I think that the big box store is a pay to play. I think it looks really sexy, but it's very dangerous.
Mm.
And the worst thing about this nightmare with COVID is obviously how many people have lost their lives, but probably for the potential startups of multiple businesses that you have the attention where you didn't have the attention. So there's so much coming at you while you're on the train going to New York, while you're right now, like, I feel like I'm on lockdown, like so I feel like this is a great time to start a company of many different kinds that, you can have a relationship with your consumer, like you're relatable, like they know you, like you didn't just make something. And here's the other thing. Okay. Don't laugh at me.
No guarantees on that one.
Because I said, my kids always laugh at me. Okay. It's like one of the sayings I've always had. If we've grown it, we should own it. Okay.
Yeah.
So the whole natural hair explosion happened. Okay. I feel like what? Y'all just never noticed us? Like Black Lives Matter? Like we just got here yesterday? Because I'm confused. And so I feel I came here to serve. I've never personally gotten paid $1 million. I've built a multi-million-dollar company, but I've taken care of a lot of people along the way. And my commitment is to make sure that my consumer has a great experience with their hair, with their skin. That's not something that's harmful that you can put on your 4-year-old. You shouldn't have to be breathing mineral oil or propylene glycol or but I feel like, if you're the guy in the lab who they say, here's the price point that we need to sell this at, $4.99, then you use crap. I don't, that's not my thing. So.
Yeah. So go back to, if you grow it, you should own it. Tell us how to own it. What are some of the pieces that we should be thinking about as we're thinking about starting a business or starting a product line?
Well, I think that
this is our industry, and we own so much fewer or so much less of a portion of it than we used to own. And I think this is an opportune time to get back to how do we own our businesses, and our culture. And
all right, let's go back to that. Many, many, many years ago, before there was affirmative action, communities were. My parents grew up 3 generations a block from each other. Communities were specific communities, right? So if you make products, you got them in the car, you drove to where you knew was your community, and you sold them. Then let's pay attention. Let's put some stuff on shelf. Okay, that gets neutralized. Okay, so now you go on shelf. Now, everybody that sits at the top of the food chain that doesn't look like you or me looks at the numbers, the metrics. Oh my goodness. These people have money to spend on this. like what? Right? So they're not going to let us own it. So I would encourage anybody listening to this to go and Google the head directors, division directors, or directors of Target, Walmart, Walgreens, Rite Aid, ShopRite, Kroger, whatever. Okay? Not only are there very few women, there ain't nobody that look like me and you, girlfriend. So it's like, what do you like? Got not one black friend? Like you just didn't notice? These athletes with all this nappy, crazy hair. Like, bro, like,
Mhm.
if they're not, because if it's not gotten on the
Yeah.
radar, they don't need to know until they
Mhm.
test it.
Yeah.
I'm shutting up. Go
It's
ahead.
interesting what you were saying. I hope I'm not cutting you off. It's like it's breaking up just a little bit. But what you were saying, I think you and I talked a little bit about how distribution works, and you were saying that was the root of a lot of the great big companies that we had as black manufacturers and black owned hair care companies, was because of the way that distribution was handled. And like you're saying, the salesperson would load up his trunk, and and typically it was a him. There
Right,
were some women out there, but mostly hims. Who would go, all the salons were in the
right,
community, and would go from salon to salon to salon, versus when we started, moving around. And so
right.
talk to us, take us a little bit deeper into that, because I think that has so much impact on where we are now, that we need to use that as the stepping stone to figure out where do we go from here.
So I think that was probably consistent with a lot of people that owned their own businesses. Okay, 70% of the business,
Okay.
I think it might even be higher now, in America are small businesses. They're not big conglomerates. They're small businesses. We make a
Mm-hmm.
living. It's a restaurant. It's whatever it is, right? So I think that communities
Mm-hmm.
are very accessible. I think a little bit about affirmative action kind of diluted communities a little bit more. And then I think the whole kind of on shelf thing was like kind of changed the whole strategy a little bit even more. And I think at that
Okay.
time, like I said, women relaxed their hair. They went to the salon every 2 weeks. They didn't buy a lot of stuff. So I get that whole
Mm-hmm.
conversation about what is this
Right.
behavior of the consumer. Okay. Then
Right.
okay, so then the whole natural hair thing happens. And then Target's like, oh, let's do an end cap test because relaxer sales are down. So we would like to know what these women are doing. That's how five or
Right.
six of them got on an end cap test, which did like millions of dollars. Now, oh my God, these black girls are spending some money. Look, y'all never noticed? Like, what? I'm sorry. Told you I needed to,
Mm-hmm.
but I just can't. Okay. So now becomes the inception of Amazon. So it's natural hair evolution. Now they see
Right.
the value in the revenue stream. Now there becomes Amazon. Now,
Okay.
in the US, the distribution channel for ethnic brands is the distributor called Ultra Standard.
Okay. So when you say distributor channel, what does that mean exactly? Like if I have a product, I started my product, people are liking it, and I'm like, how do I get it into Target or
Yeah,
Rite
who
Aid?
are you selling it to?
Say that again.
Who are you selling it to?
Well, that's what I want. I wanted to be in all the stores,
Where?
everywhere.
And what's that?
You know how we are when we're trying to do something. It's like we
No,
don't have
no,
a
this
plan, we
is
don't have all the
no,
things.
this is serious. In what section? And this is why I say this.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Okay.
every buyer is responsible to buy whatever is in their section of the store called
Okay.
the planogram. Okay? If
Okay.
you're a dude, they sell Gillette, they sell Shave, so when you go to that buyer, that's
Mhm.
what you're pitching them, that's who you're selling to. It's very specific.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So which is why the whole conversation about texture or ethnic, like shut up. Like shouldn't it be fine, medium coarse, straight, wavy, curly, coily? Like that to me, that just makes sense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so the natural hair thing gets on the radar. Okay, and now we want to make it nice, not instead of the ethnic section, which really should say Negro shop here. We want to call it the textured section. Like what? Girl, I can't. I shouldn't have started this conversation.
But I mean, I think this is are the things that people don't know. They
No,
don't
they
know
don't know.
They don't know someone to ask. It's like
So
they
wait, let me interrupt you, Mick.
go
Two.
ahead, go ahead.
One is that, so we were talking about the planogram.
Okay.
Ultra Standard is a distributor. They
Okay.
represent everybody in the ethnic set.
Okay.
You Google them and see all the brands they represent. So they are the ones who send their salespeople to go to the ethnic buyer to pitch a brand.
Okay.
Their parent company is Quality King.
Mm-hmm.
They're the biggest diverters of beauty and pharmaceutical products in the world.
Wow.
So what fell off the truck?
Mm. Wow.
Okay. So my thing is like, if we're going to go and say, okay, we're going to support this, like they're like, oh, 15% of Ulta store chain wants 15% of their brands black owned. Well, first of all, how do we know who's black owned? I've been a certified black owned, women black owned company for 15 years. They ain't playing. Lie to the federal government.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So, does that was like the whole controversy with Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben. We cannot be consumers and not know how to dig deeper to really look at what's really going on at the top of the food chain. Who's really getting paid? Who's really giving back to our community?
Right.
Who are we holding accountable? Are we just driving up spending money while they go play golf and their kids go to Harvard?
Wow.
I told you, don't get me started.
Creeps to us.
You want me to have another glass of wine?
I just want everybody to know, some of the things that are going on that we need to be looking out for as we're, working so hard. Like you said, it's like we are like the hardest working people that I know as far as hairstylists. It's like we work early, we work like
hard.
Yeah, it's like we work, we use our physical body, we use our brain to formulate while we're having a conversation with them about, their children and, their lives and all that kind of stuff. And then we're, their emotional support system. It's like we are doing it on all fronts. And so then we leave there and then we go home and it's like, okay, I work on this product.
Right. And work on the products. Right.
Yeah. And then you work hard and you get, the recognition and the sales or whatever you're trying to get. And, you think the epitome is let's get it in the stores. And so I just want people to know
I'm sorry.
What they're doing.
Shut up.
No, I want you to keep talking.
No, I mean, it's like, and people think playing professional sports is like, oh, okay. People think being a movie star is like, oh, it's like, girl, let me tell you, I learned by fire how this game works. Okay. I feel like right now we have the attention of our consumer base because we're on lockdown.
Right.
So everybody that sees my little name flashing at the bottom of the screen, email me. We can have a conversation. You want to sell direct to your consumer? You figure out what you want to sell, who they are, what your cost of goods sold are, who else you need to plug into your team. Because I personally would never go on shelf again. The next product line that I'm doing is called Calm Down Curl. Okay. I'm doing it strictly as affiliate. So my kids live in Harlem. I ain't paying them more parking tickets. So I'll make you an affiliate of Calm Down Curl. You can have all your friends sign up and I'll give you a 50% commission so you can pay your own daggone parking tickets because I'm done. Okay. And my thing is like, you know what? Never again. Keep the money in the family. Like I said, I'm here to serve. Girl, I got about 6 pairs of shoes. All this value that I've learned growing up from a family of my uncle being killed by the Klan, who's a Morehouse graduate, assistant superintendent of the Washington, D.C. school system. Hold on. Told you made me go get all my family history out.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. So I have dealt with plenty of you ain't invited to the party. So don't be enamored by the sexy lunch or the BS talk because it's like Bernie Madoff, okay? And if you think that Unilever or anybody else is going to let us own their block, The minute that gets on their radar, you can forget it. However, if you're connected to your consumer through social media, and you make some products that work for them, I don't care if it's a foot product, a face product, a hair product, wash your dog product, okay? You can make a living and stay home and be a parent for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like doing all that, but
That's optional, right?
but I mean, or hire the living while you doing other stuff or whatever. Versus thinking that this whole thing is so sexy, because this is very much a pay to play game.
Mm.
And the people at the top of the food chain that are the billionaires, they'll put your company in the toilet so they can have a write-off. Tristan Walker.
Wow.
2 rounds of 20 million, 40 million. Gave his company away in bankruptcy.
Who was that?
Tristan Walker Bevel.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that.
The black man's version of the Dollar Shave Club.
Oh, okay.
He was a brother of Silicon Valley, thought he could pitch it at an incubator. You know what incubators are for? Because they ain't got no damn ideas, and we do. Now they're going to walk you to the investor.
Mm-hmm.
Really? What's that mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what, I got to give you a kidney for some money?
Mm-hmm.
Because you think they're going to let you own your company? No. You start from the ground. You email my ass. I'll show you how to get it started. Seriously.
Yes.
You make a living. You can make a living where you don't have to even put yourself out there to like have your heart broken. Because if you look at it and you're a billionaire and you basically get involved in companies so you can make their bottom line look negative that was positive when you came in, so you have to pay taxes on your $3 billion that you made. That's the top of the food chain game. That's the game. No new news.
Okay.
So I feel like don't be like all
Okay.
like thing by like the fluffy like whatever. This is my thing. Man.
Yeah.
I'm all about philanthropy. I'm finishing a book. I'm all about teaching women how to start their own businesses, protecting themselves, how to help these millennials get out of debt and own property. I came here to serve. Money is not a big deal, but I'll tell you what, you pimp me, I'm coming for you. Because if you pimp me, you're going to pimp everybody else that looks like me. And then you're invisible.
I hear you on that.
I'm just saying, girl. Or I'm going to shut up now.
Right. Right.
No, it's real.
No, this is what we need to hear.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like it not only is it what we need to hear, you know, we talked about this earlier, you know, going through the evolution of relaunching the site, relaunching new products that are like, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I'm doing some cool, funky, pretty amazing stuff. We'll talk about that next.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing right now. Okay. I'm only doing it, and I'm going to do it all through affiliates. Like I said, if you got some college debt or you got whatever, fine. So Palm Down Curl, then I'm going to do Holman, Hulmen. Okay. It's going to be a picture of multiple men with different skin colors and hair types and different languages saying, I am the whole man. So don't look at me because I'm brown and think like I'm black or you don't know where the hell I'm from.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And when we launched the site, I started a 501c3 to help this young woman finalize her education. She was from Trinidad. She was at the time DACA. It was a crazy story, but anyway. So my whole thing is about philanthropy. I got a few projects that I'm really passionate about. I came here to serve, man. I'm not like whatever happened to my company. Shame on me. But you know what? I've been a runaway slave before, so shame the hell on them.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Felicia.
Yeah.
I'm serious. If you don't have the right people to protect you, to advise you, to look out for you, to really help you drill this down to what makes sense, you'll get hurt. I got hurt.
Yeah.
And there are many financial predators.
Mm-hmm.
Just like there are sexual predators, the crossing guard. Next thing you know, your son is on his front porch drinking Pepsi. Like, this is not by accident. This is all very intentional.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like you got hurt. And it's like, when you shared some of the stuff with me, it's like it was very hurting to me just having known you so long and all of the different, pieces. And I only know a little bit of the pieces of the puzzle that, of building your brand and all of that. But I know that everything happens for a reason. That, how they say, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. It's like, and right. I've got the bet is on Jane Carter.
Well, listen, this has been the hardest 2 years of my life. Mm-hmm. I pretty much cry as a cathartic exercise every day.
That's a good thing.
And my mother used to say, okay, you want to cry? Set the timer for 5 minutes. When the bell goes off, blow your nose and get up, because don't nobody care. And crying ain't gonna get nothing done.
Okay.
No, but I'm serious. Like I said, I'm here to share. I'm here to serve.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like we have a Facebook user just said she's given the jewels. And so we definitely appreciate it. If you're on Facebook with us, there's a little section at the bottom of this, write up or what have you that says you can put your name in or give permission to StreamYard to put your name in so that we can actually see you and say thanks for your comment. We've got, yes, powerful little nuggets. Another.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's document it so we can show them. Y'all don't own us.
Uh-huh.
We own us.
Here it is, Tan Taylor.
That's all I'm saying.
Is indeed the mother of invention. Yeah.
Round.
Yeah. So for someone who is wondering, should I even start a product line? What would you say to them? It's like I'm, doing stuff behind the chair. It's like I'm seeing what everybody else is doing in terms of the successes that they may be having or the perception of the successes that they're having from, the social media showing the wonderfulness of everything and never the other side of everything. What do I need to consider before I think about investing the time, money, energy, or what do I need to know? Okay.
Here's two things. Calm down, Carl. I feel like the men, I already did Jay Carter men, but that's a whole nother conversation. Mm-hmm. I feel like the Holman line is going to will be next I'm the focus group queen, so I don't like just take a risk and be like, oh, I think this is what's going on. Like, how much do I win? My daddy's an accountant. He said the balance sheet ain't got no tears. Is it a P or an L? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I feel like the third line is my new LLC that I set up 2 years ago called Distinctly Diverse. Okay. We're stylists. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the third project that I'm in the works with, that they can send an email out to their client, that they can get paid if they can't come to work, that their client can fill out a questionnaire, that they can customize products for their clients with special boosters and ampules. They can sign up to be an ambassador as stylists on that part of our site. We'll drop ship everything. They ain't got to worry about diversion. Their clients can't get to them. They're going to go to wherever and support the Targets or the Walgreens or the Rite Aids that don't support us. Okay? Right. It's college tuition paid. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, girl, I paid my dues. Mm-hmm. So I'd be mad if I leave here and I didn't leave behind what I came here. Seriously, to leave behind, which is us. Mm-hmm. Okay, my folks came here rowing, not riding.
Okay. Yeah. So that sounds really, really good. So they get.
We can do this.
Act as an ambassador. It's like they set up and they can tell their clients about it. They can tell people that they may know that aren't necessarily clients. They may tell relatives in other states and you'll get it shipped out for them. And it can be customized to what they actually want and need.
That would be for the stylist specifically.
That's
Okay.
stylist. Okay.
That brand would only be for stylists because I don't want them going on Amazon
Okay.
buying something for $6 cheaper than you dusting off the shelf with it on.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have scalp issues, if you have hair growth issues, if you have hair loss issues, if you have, like, it's endless. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you need to take a test about your hormones. They
Mm.
have access to that for you.
Wow.
You work just like you said, hard. Run a salon's like running a nightclub. I got stylists who come and dress as a man one day and a girl the next day. I'm like, bro, pick one. Like, you're confusing everybody here. Danny, are you Daniela today? Because I'm just, but I don't know, Mick. This is all I'm saying. It's like, for those of us that are in the community on the ground, which is where I've always been, we
Mm-hmm.
understand the behavior. We know it's broken.
Yeah.
The people that are not related to what's on the ground and the behavior and what's broken, they don't care. They don't notice. They don't notice. So my
Mm-hmm.
thing is always, where are the holes? That's like
Okay.
my left-handedness.
Where are the
Where are
holes?
the holes?
Okay.
How do you protect that stylist who can't unlock that door, paying for her booth? And her client's got to wash her hair or got to deal with her scalp or may have to use something on her face that reduces irritation or her husband with razor bump, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, keep it in the family. That's it. That's where I'm at right now. Keep it in the family.
Okay. So I
Would like to that.
um if I can I don't know why this isn't. Oh, I may be doing many things. There it is. And Fatima was the one who said she said
Okay,
she's given the
girl.
yeah. Yeah, we are definitely keeping it real here. And another user says, love all the info. She's interested. And I think I put this so I can show it as well. If you are interested in, potentially starting a product line or working with Jane with the Calm Down Curl, is that the first line or is that the
That's
professional?
the first line. And
Okay.
you're going to be part of that also.
Absolutely.
You get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so I've got, if you can read this, which is a little bit.ly thing with several different things. So I'll keep it sliding through there, and I may even put it up. So if you want to snap your camera and take a picture of it. But if you go to that, there's just a quick thing where you can put in your name and email, and we'll be in contact with you so that we can let you know as things launch and how to get more, more of the details of what is going to be available, because this is, I really don't think I've heard anything like this, Jane. I mean, people have different things, but when you're talking about the percentages and, it's like, you just go ahead.
My daddy was an accountant, okay?
Okay. So you've done the numbers.
Right. How much and by when. The other things I feel like I've spent literally in my lifetime, hundreds of thousands of dollars on life coaches, wellness coaches, business coaches, intuitive coaches. Like, I feel like I have so much to share. I feel like Jane Carter Evolved is a lifestyle, is like, let me share all of this that I've spent so much time and energy learning, that I've gotten dragged behind the car learning with my folks. Because if we
Right.
don't know that we don't know, then we just don't know.
Right. Right.
And then guess who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Not us.
Yeah, like I said, it's about access, and I appreciate you giving us access to a place where we don't often get to see, because so few people have even gone down the road you've gone down.
I got some scars to show it.
Yeah, yeah. I guess life doesn't come without them.
That's okay. I'm still standing.
Absolutely. How they say, if you can look up, get up,
That's what I'm saying. Okay. And listen, honestly, Miki, if it wasn't for people like you, I might look up and not get up.
Right, right.
So I
Yeah,
love you. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Honestly.
yeah, yeah.
Honestly, from my heart. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. It's like, I think we've all been in that space at least a time or two where it's like, should I bother?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much, like you say, so much that you've invested in yourself that you have to share with the world. And that is your purpose. It's like you still have breath. God's got a purpose for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yep. I'm here to serve, girl.
Yeah.
So, like
And,
we said
and he'll
earlier,
take care of all the different pieces.
yeah, like we said earlier. Listen, growing up is hard. Growing old is harder.
That's a good one. I think I heard Cher a few years ago. She said, I've been 40 and I've been 50. She's like, 40 is definitely better.
Oh
She's
my
got a
goodness.
few more since she said that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So talk like with the ambassador program that you're sharing with us is like, is there like a big investment that we need to
There's
prepare
no
for?
investment. There,
Oh,
there.
wow.
When I get the site launched, there'll be a simple application for you to be a brand ambassador. Okay.
Okay.
I want to make
Okay.
sure you're not the OTC guy ordering $2,500 worth. Okay.
Okay.
If you're
Okay.
if you're a
And
Mickey,
OTC for everybody else, OTC?
no, I'm not doing
What?
none of that.
No, but what is it? I don't know that everybody knows what that is.
Supply chain, all that.
Over the counter,
No,
right?
the whole Korean. No disrespect to the Koreans, but if they
Uh-huh.
don't, if they're not, if they're gonna pimp your price point that affects
Mhm.
you everywhere else on shelf, my thing is you have a network, you become an affiliate, you sign up, you talk to your friends, I send you product, you say, I like this, they order it through Mickey slash Jane Carter, Calm Down Curl, whatever, and
Mhm.
we'll send you a check. And you ain't gotta do nothing. And if you got kids like mine that live in Harlem, you can pay their parking tickets.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that sounds like a great program.
That's
So,
for us by us.
yes, yes. And what if I have like a desire to have my own line? Are you doing any private labeling or any formulating, or that's off the table right now for you?
That is definitely not off the table.
Not off the table. Okay.
I am launching a course called So You Want to Start Your Own Business,
Okay.
as well as the first course is going to be Calm Down Girl.
Okay.
About the millennials, okay?
That's
Teach
the
them
first thing, right? Calm down.
yeah, calm down, girl. Look, I showed you my necklace. My daughter's a jewelry designer.
Oh, nice. Okay. Can't see all the detail. You'll have to send me a picture. I'll post it.
Okay. And then I'm gonna do a calm down, bro.
Okay.
These guys need to really. That's a whole different conversation.
Hmm. Hmm.
But like I said, I've spent a lot of money learning, experiencing, raising kids, raising my kids, raising other people's kids, and I feel like you know this is not your information to keep; it's your information to share.
Right.
So one of the third courses is So You Want to Start Your Own Business.
Okay.
Okay, there's no pie in the sky. What do you want to make? Who's doing it already? What are they doing great at? What do they suck at? Excuse my mouth. So if you know what your strategic analysis is, you can assess who you're competing against
Hmm.
and what is your price point, your cost of goods sold, how do you get it to market? I mean, it's not rocket science.
Hmm.
But if you don't really understand the strategy
Right.
before you get like, oh, I'm all excited. Like, okay, great. I'm excited about being 5'7", but I'm 5'3". So I ain't
Right.
got
Yeah. Yeah. But I think those are like so important that a lot of times we
it's
do
key.
get in the excitement and we skip past what we need to
Sure.
learn. Because for some people, I know they're sitting there like, what is the cost of goods sold? What does that even mean? And so it's like we need to know the terminology. We need to know what
We
goes.
need the numbers. How much and by when?
Right.
That was
Right.
my father's famous line. How much and by when?
Right. Right. Yeah. But that's powerful that you're gonna have that type of course and really sit down with people and have it broken down so that they can
Yeah.
start. I like to say it's like everything that lasts starts with a strong foundation. And if you don't have that foundation, it's hard for anything to last. It's like it's just the living in the excitement.
Exactly. I ain't trying to kill your dream. I'm just trying to give you some reality.
Right, right, right.
That's really, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, has been like so enlightening.
thank you.
For me, it's like we're getting some great oh gosh, okay. They've exploded. I missed a few as I was even looking here. Jane said she's gonna contact you. That's Fatima. She's got something that'll be fine. Um, we've got another Facebook, mad respect to Jane for her contribution and transparency. That's Fatima as well.
That's
And Demi Cobbs, I think I'm pronouncing your name right. I hope I am. But great info, Mrs. Carter. And Embrace Natural Beauty. Thank you so much, Jane and Miki.
oh
So thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. And if anybody has any questions, it's like we are open to take questions through the comment sections as well. So go ahead and put those in. I know sometimes it can be a little bit like, whoo, like what all did they say, and trying to digest it and you can't quite.
yeah, the whole digestion, like to go back and think about, okay, wow, like I thought this and now I think that. So now the question before we started is different than right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you talked about, I mean, you are a cosmetologist. You talked about the education and all that kind of stuff. I really like to just reiterate, if we have new stylists, if we have stylists who are maybe struggling, stylists that are going back after COVID and saying, it's like not as many of my clients came back as I thought, some of them are still a little hesitant to come back in. I know you're super big on education. You started as an assistant, and worked your way into that assistant position because you wanted it so bad. So what can you share with, today, that would be helpful for anybody that's wanting to advance their business?
Well, I think that's an important question, and that's kind of why I feel like the distinctly diverse product line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully this will all go away soon. But
Right.
the reality is that, if we look at what's trending now, skincare is trending, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I feel like for stylists, like I said, those are my people. I know that's like running a nightclub. Like, I know, like, that's like, it's physically and emotionally a lot of work.
Yes.
I feel like, you know what, if I can create an entire portal for you that you can send out an email and get something very specific that your client needs while they're home now, and they can only buy it from you, then girl, please let me help you.
Yeah.
Seriously, right? Because
Yes.
I don't know. This is crazy. Who knows when this is going to be done? Who knows?
Right.
But
Yeah.
you know that women have to wash their hair and their face
Yep.
and all the other stuff. So
And get on things like Zoom and StreamYard
yeah, girl, yeah, yes.
and look presentable. Yeah.
It's like,
We love your curls.
I just hacked my hair off one day when I was mad.
Yeah. Well, you did a very good job with the hacking.
It's, I don't know. It's
It's
like
all even.
I go beat somebody up on the outside, some racist
Right.
boy. I just cut my hair off today.
Yeah, that won't get you arrested. So we're glad that you chose
Yeah,
that.
I know.
So, so this is our winning the retail game month, and so we definitely appreciate everything that you shared about retail. So any suggestions? Black Friday is next weekend. We've got Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, the Christmas holiday. How can we maximize what we're doing, in our salons or not in our salons, depending on what your state and city are doing right now with lockdowns?
Well, I feel like in our salons not in our salons, I feel like, there may be a lot of things we can do. There may be a dog walking service.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had this conversation with this guy who was a dog walker who would come to this apartment and walk like 6 dogs for $25 and bring back 6 and walk like 6 more in the same building. I'm like, bro, this is like a crack business for you. I was like in shock. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe we make uh, food. A friend of mine who's a stylist is doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But in spite of the Listen, I've buried 6 people in 6 weeks,
Wow.
and 4 of
Unbelievable.
them are under 30, and
Mm,
none of them from COVID,
right.
okay? And I feel like this is the time for community.
Mhm.
People are accessible. People need whatever we have to offer as a service
Right.
to sell, whether it's generosity, whether it's
Mhm.
like the good thing about what we do is people got hair and they got to eat and they got to sleep and they got to wear clothes. So
Right.
if you're in any of those businesses, you're good. And they got dogs that got to be walked.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely
I
that.
mean, but wait, but Mick, listen.
Mhm.
So I have a good friend who's an administrator here in Newark, and she was an elementary school teacher. And then her and I are having this conversation, and I said to her, Winda, why don't you create like a monthly package that you send out to all these elementary school kids? A
Mhm.
jump rope. It could be a blackboard that you roll out that's like an 8x4 with chalk that they can play hopscotch.
Mm.
It could be a set of jacks. It could be, we don't always have to think like in this paradigm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is our opportunity to like really look around and pay attention
Mhm.
because people are willing to like pay attention. And the hardest thing to sell to anybody is to get their attention. But if you know what's missing and where the holes are and what people need right now in this moment, you'll be good.
Mm.
You'll be good.
That is deep. That
All
is
right. That's called get paid trick.
okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a great place for us to just kind of pause and say thank you. That's precious as far as what you just shared.
Thank
So,
me.
huh?
You said thank me. Thank me.
Yeah, thank you for being here, for sharing. So, being so transparent and and what you just shared. I mean, I just think it's the epitome of wisdom, you know,
I
that
guess.
that it's, I watched
My left-handedness.
I watched during the early days of COVID in March and April, where, so many hairstylists were just in a panic. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to do hair. I got to do hair. And, it was just like, don't put yourself at risk, from a health perspective, your family, all of this to, chase a dollar kind of thing.
Yep,
And
yep.
I'm like, the people that I know in the hair industry are the most creative people that I know in the
Yes.
world. So there's some way that we can create something else, where it's based on, like you say, based on what we're trained to do, which I don't think we grasp how much we are actually doing when we're doing what we're doing, that it's not just the style that the clients are coming for, that there's more things
Serve.
that we are
We're here to
providing.
serve. We're here to serve.
Yeah.
Do
And,
anything. It could
but
be food. It could
but
be
look at how you can serve differently.
yeah.
Yeah. And look at what else can I do, period. It doesn't have to be related or connected if you can do it safely and feed your family.
Well, I've personally adopted all of the gang members off at the corner. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, yeah, but I love that. I love that because you are helping your community.
Oh yeah, I'm going to get them. They
Yeah.
call me mom now.
Okay. Yeah, you are a powerhouse, Jane Carter. We
Thank
appreciate
you,
you.
girl. I appreciate you.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you
being
so
here tonight. And
yeah.
I want to say how much I appreciate everybody that's joined us live, everybody that's watching, on a replay, listening on the podcast, that's still coming soon, very soon. So be on the lookout for that, where you can take these lessons and these nuggets and these things on the road with you, whether you're washing dishes or driving in the car or what have you, that you can be planting some really good seeds and getting access to people that you may not, have met any other way, but they can still be powerful mentors for you. So I'll show, I think Demi Cobbs is saying she's in the process of scaling up her product line, was looking to go on store shelves. This has made me think twice and focus on just the audience we have on social media. Wow.
Email me tomorrow, girl. I'll give you the earful.
Yes. So, and I did say I was going to try to show this so that you could take a picture of it if I can do that.
What?
I have the scroll going across
The email?
to not the email, but the actual information where you can go and leave us your name and email, and we'll be able to contact you.
Actually, you could email me just
Show.
directly to my personal email.
Nope, I can't seem to show it.
Oh,
And I have that up though.
going at the
Jane at Jane Carter Evolved with a D on the end.com.
Yeah.
And that is scrolling. But I wanted to see if I could take it off scroll and make it bigger. That's the part I wanted to do right there.
You know what, Mick? This is the other thing, right?
There it is. You can take a picture of that.
Thank you.
And also, yep, there we go. If you want more information starting a product line and retailing, you can go there, and it's like you'll be notified also of some of the other shows, the upcoming shows that we have for Beauty Superstars Talk. So yeah, it's like I'm excited about just everything that we talked about this evening, and kind of can't wait to go back and digest and dissect everything. But this is our third or four sessions that we're doing on winning the retail game, because I do think that retailing is the new cosmetology. And so we've got to start to shift the way that we've thought about retail, as Jane is showing us some ways that we can profit and benefit without even out-of-pocket costs, which is phenomenal. And next week, we have a gentleman, Thomas Fawcett. He is with Basic Hair Care. He has a Salon Success book where he's been teaching people. And I was really impressed during the early part of the pandemic. He was really extremely involved in connecting with hairstylists and giving them some opportunities to be able to make money right away. And I absolutely loved what he was doing. He has a new book that's coming out on the market, and we're going to be the first to get it. So I'm super excited. Right. It's called Shut Up and Close the Deal. And he's going to be here next week, next Tuesday at 7 p.m. to share with us how to shut up and sell. So what do we do with these products? How do we talk to people?
Must be related to my father.
Must be related.
My daddy.
So we're going to close out that month, and I'm super excited about having them here. And also that'll transition us into December, which is hard to believe, the last segment or last month of the year. It's like we're making it, guys. We're making it, like one moment at a time. Just keep hanging on. But the December topic, I do themes each month, and the December theme is on life changers. And I have 4 people who are literally changing lives by using their purpose and their passion, which is what all of us every day do as hairstylists and barbers. So Mr. Chet Bennett is going to be here with us. He has the Bennett Career Institute in Washington, D.C., one of the best schools in the country. And he has managed to take every lemon thrown at him and make some lemonade and create not only a lemonade stand, but like a lemonade building. He is like the entrepreneur's entrepreneur. And I can't wait to sit down and have you guys, if you haven't met him already, but he is a phenomenal person and really great humanitarian and great business person, great entrepreneur. So we're going to learn so much from him. Then we'll have Denise Michelle, who started the Mentorship Academy, and that has just exploded. And everyone that I hear share about it, I was actually blessed to be part of the first one, but everyone I hear sharing about it is almost in tears, like, oh my gosh, this touched my soul, this changed my life. And so we can't wait to hear from her. And of course, she's an expert cutter and all kinds of accolades as well. And then a really good friend of mine, actually, Carolyn Marshall Covington, and she was the person that trained me how to do weaving way back when in Washington, D.C. And it just so happens she lives in Raleigh, which is where I now live. And I didn't even realize that when I moved here, but we've been able to reconnect. But for anyone who is having adversity, she is the person to come and see and listen to. She is a hairstylist. She's been a salon owner. She's been a product maker and helping people get products and all of that. But recently she lost her sight and is losing her sight. And so I don't know if any of you guys can imagine being a hairstylist and losing your sight, but that's pretty traumatic to go through. But she has more vision than anybody I know. She is still creating. She still has business. She's the busiest. You tell me she's the busiest blind person I know. She is on this committee and doing that. She started a whole organization called Insightful Visionaries, and she's actually putting together programs for people to be able to, without sight, be able to be part of our industry. And she is phenomenal because she's like, I just, after I dusted myself off, it's like I just focus on, okay, my hands still work, my feet still work, my mouth still works, my brain still works. It's like we've got to keep it moving. So she has always been a mentor to me, always been someone that I've been in awe of, in a sense, throughout her entire career. So I can't wait to sit down and talk with her. And then Darius Peace will round out our year, and he's with Haya Beauty and started just some really phenomenal trends in natural hair. He's built this humongous community, and he's showing people how to do better business and how to do natural hair in a different way. And so we're going to celebrate him and the lives he's changed. All of them have changed. So I want to say again, thank you guys. Thank you for being part of Beauty Superstars Talk. Please, share with anybody who needs some of this information, because this is rich. The things that you shared tonight, I said it before we met, but you won't hear this anywhere else. You won't get this information from any other class. And so if you are looking to, start a program, or product or what have you, definitely connect with Jane Carter and definitely let her guide you through so that you can avoid the pitfalls and really put everything in position that you need to have in position to succeed.
And keep the money in the family.
All right. Yes. That is our takeaway for tonight. Thank you so much, Jane. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next day. Okay.
Thank you. Thank
you. Be sure to follow beautysuperstars.com or go there, because I do have a free gift for you. I think I can show it there. Yeah, it's a free financial guide to get your finances back on track. It's a video, and it has helped a lot of people to kind of regain their sanity, start putting some things in place, and start giving them some freedom in their mind and everything, which is the only way that you can create. Is you can't create from a panic. So check that out. It's at beautysuperstars.com, and I will look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a great one.